Hello and welcome to another Bolt Action Deep Dive with Zorvix. In this video, I will be discussing the lists that were released for the Danish Nationals tournament that is coming up. This is part one of a two-part series where I'll be discussing in this video the nationalities, the platoon information, as well as the order dice. In the second part, I'll be discussing some of the unit-specific information that I found when evaluating. This tournament has 40 attendees, and it is limited to 1,000 points. However, tank platoons are allowed. All images in this presentation are owned by Warlord Games. And without further ado, the nations being represented, the plurality is going to be Germany, followed by Soviet Union, US, and British. No big surprise there. However, that's a pretty good split between those. Rounding out the bottom four is going to be Japan, Italy, Romania, and Finland. There's a couple of those minor nations, but nobody's bringing French, nobody's bringing the Greeks, partisans, things like that. My understanding, not hugely popular in the area, but we do have a pretty good turnout regarding those nations. Of the platoons that are being presented, there are going to be 14 single platoons, 12 double platoons, in fact, one triple platoon even, and 13 tank platoons. Of the 40 attendees, then, that means your tank platoons are going to be about one every third game, and your double platoons are going to be every other game. So within those, you're going to play against a good variety of opponents. So probably some of those all-comers lists are going to perform a little bit better than things that are going to just focus on one thing. Of the tank platoons being represented, the top three are going to be British, German, and Soviet, and then just one each of the US, Italy, and Finland. I'll definitely discuss more about why this is, because there are some trends with the units that explain why certain lists are being run as tank platoons and certain nationalities are being run as tank platoons. The order dice amount is a lot higher than what I would expect to see in my area. So I may end up adapting some of this information to my own gameplay. But as an overall average, there are just under 15 order dice per list. Might I remind you, this is only 1,000 points. So that is a high number for that point. A lot of people usually say the rule of one die per 100 points. Well, this is 50% higher than that. Of note, I did evaluate only 39 of the lists, as one of them isn't fully submitted and worked out. The information wasn't fully available. The highest two lists are both 21 order dice. That's one of the Japanese lists and one of the tank platoons. Definitely running that horde spam with each of those. Horde vehicles, horde infantry. Good luck, and I hate you. Next up, the lowest two are going to be 9 and 10 order dice. Both of those are tank platoons, actually. So they'll have some of the higher quality tanks. On average, the tank platoons are running 14 order dice, which runs about 71 points per die. This does indicate that there's going to be a lot more of those light tanks, cheaper vehicles in mass, and no surprise there, honestly, because those are the more efficient vehicles, according to the meta and a lot of the competitive players. Infantry platoons, however, are running just over 15 dice per platoon, and that's 65 points per order die there. This is a smaller number than I would have expected regarding, based on our local meta anyway. And this indicates more small teams, platoons not being run at full strength, different things like that. A lot more support elements in those platoons. Take that how you will. There's probably a good analysis that can be done on how to change your gameplay just based on that information. Last but not least, the dice used per nation. The Germans and the US definitely have the least amount of dice per nation, so they're going to be running the stronger infantry, the higher quality infantry, The Romanian and Italy, while they are the top two, that's only one list each, so the information is a little bit skewed. But the British and German and the Japanese, you can see that as a good indication of those are pretty consistent. Surprisingly, the Japanese aren't all running just bamboo spear spam. There's some knee mortars. There's a good variety in there, which is indicated by this. And with that, I look forward to seeing you in part 2 of this series. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.